Today we're going to be talking about the King Air Spacer Kit and mounting a King Air panel in the Panel Pro for cutting. The King Air Spacer Kit involves 3 7/8 inch high bars for OEM panels and 6 2.5 inch clamps to clamp the thickness of a King Air panel. And while we're talking about King Air panels, this works for non-King Air panels as well, but this is the basic setup for panels with rolled edges. The first thing we're going to do is line up the panel using alignment tabs, and this gives us our initial squareness to the panel. We're going to start by placing our mounting bars at an angle so they fit the angle of the edge of the panel. On the left and the right, those are our 1-inch bars, and then at least a couple of 1/2 inch bars in the middle for mid-span support. So the first thing we're going to do is align it with our alignment tabs, and then making sure that this hole is available and not covered up by the alignment bar. And that is what we're going to use for zeroing our work zero. These are jig holes, and they're the same on all King Air panels. And between this hole and this hole is approximately 47 5/8 inches, although it may vary by a 1/16 of an inch or so. But it helps make sure that we've got this panel square in the Panel Pro. So let's get rid of this stuff. The next thing we need to do is verify our work zero and our Z0. So we're going to touch the top of our panel with the end mill, and that's going to be our Z0. And after that, we're going to jog over and place the 3/16 shank over the end mill into this hole, and that is going to be our work zero. Now note that this hole is just very slightly bigger than 3/16 of an inch, so that is still our best way to set our work zero, rather than trying to go on an edge which may vary. This is at an angle, and we'd have to get the absolute outside edge, and then this rolled edge gives us some problems as well. So we will use this jig hole as our work zero. We jog over to the point that we want our Z0 to be at, and it's going to vary just a little bit across the panel, but its absolute height is not a big problem. Just bear in mind that it's not going to be absolutely the same across the whole panel. And we're going to touch the surface with the end mill, and then we're going to hit our Z key and hit enter, and that enters our Z work zero. Using our mouse wheel, we center the 3/16 shank of the end mill in the hole, and using the mouse wheel, not our jog keys, because it's going to go too far and we're going to wind up breaking an end mill. So now the end mill is in the hole, and we're going to hit the R key to set work zero. I've moved it over 47.6875 inches, and the shank of the end mill does not quite go through the hole, so I modified it just a little bit with the mouse wheel, moved it to 47.672, just so that the shank will fit in the hole. And then on the x-axis, on the y-axis, I just loosened up the clamp and very gently moved it until the mouse wheel now fits in, or correction, until the end mill now fits in the hole. Now I have not reset work zero or anything like that, but I have adjusted the panel. We don't worry about the 47.672. That's going to be negligible as far as the cut on the whole panel goes. So raise it up to retract and go back to 0 using the move command, the MV icon. I've moved it back to work 0, and now again using the Z-axis with the mouse wheel, I can just verify that the shank of the end mill still goes in the hole without any kind of binding. If it did bind up, then I'd need to loosen up that clamp and physically move the panel just a little bit in the Y-axis so it fit. We now have the panel squared up and zeroed, and we add another clamp on each side, on that side as well as this side, and clamp that down tight. Now this panel has been cut already, but you'll have a blank panel. You can, when you start cutting, you can put a clamp gently on the edge to help stabilize it. Don't put too much pressure on or you'll start bowing it down in the middle. After you move past an area, you can add another bar and another clamp when you've got an open area to work with, making sure that you hit the pause or the escape key to stop the movement while you do that. And that is the setup for the King Air Spacer Kit. Thank you for watching.